Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we'll be talking about a box office preview for this upcoming weekend, which finally sees some major releases set to come out, specifically Jackass Forever and Moonfall, the new Roland Emmerich film, which is expected to lose pretty handedly to Jackass Forever. We'll talk about the differences between them and what is expected for both of these films, and also why one film will probably break even by the end of this weekend, while the other will likely seal its fate as being one of the biggest box office flops of the year 2022. Before going any further, though, into this bit of news, please make sure you smash that like button, live that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification turned on. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel, and also so that way you keep River happy. Yes, that's right, River. I know. She's mad because there are some people who watch these videos who don't hit that subscribe button, who don't have that bell notification turned on, and so she's mad at that. But anyway, as the headline points out from Deadline, oh boy, Jackass Forever to punk disaster pick Moonfall as winter box office tries to thaw out. And what I love about this article, and what you've noticed probably from the headline of this video, or at least from the title of this video, is the fact that Omicron excuse is back. Pandemic excuse is back once again in the box office mainstream news shill media outlets. As you can see, it says, after 2 weekends without any major studio releases amid Omicron fears, Paramount and Lionsgate will try to lure moviegoers back with Jackass Forever and Centropolis Entertainment's Moonfall, respectively. Major studio-wide releases, fear of Omicron. Really? You mean the thing that came out and was very prevalent when this movie came out? Wait a minute. This film made $1.7 billion. Wait a minute. This film broke records. Wait a minute. This film is one of the highest grossing MCU films of all time. Wait a minute. This is one of the best Sony releases of all time, if not the best Sony release of all time. But wait a minute. Where are these so-called Omicron fears? Oh, is it because other films aren't doing nearly as well? Is it because other films aren't bringing people out to theater? Maybe. It's because those films haven't been able to actually convince people to go to actually see the film. Because what we have coming out right now, what we have being released over the last couple weeks, has been trash, has been not good, has been at the very least poorly marketed, or it's just telling a story that people just don't want to actually see. Maybe that is the reason. Oh, media. You're back to your old games, aren't you? And it's ridiculous and transparent. And again, $1.7 billion. Shut your mouth. Anyway, they're going to try and lure people back with this, with these films, Jackass Forever and Moonfall. Exhibition hopefully will see more traffic after the Northeast experienced cabin fever from Winter Storm Keenan last weekend. I got a name. Rolling winter into spring breaks don't go into effect until February 18th per ComScore school calendar. That's when 22% of K-12 schools are off and 8% of colleges. This Friday, it's just 1% of K-12 off and 2% of colleges. Having Ontario movie theaters in Canada reopen with concessions doesn't hurt. Ah, yes, Canada. Land where no one is free except for those truckers. Shout out to them. Right now, it's looking like mid-teen millions for the Jeff Tremaine directed Jackass Forever at number 1 at over 3,500 screens. The movie's tracking with males under 25, but younger females are showing some decent interest as well. I would probably say that the metric is probably also going to be higher with those over 25 as well, probably in the 25 to 35, 40 range, because that is the age of people who actually grew up as teenagers, who would have been kind of that key demographic when this was first coming out, who will be going back for nostalgic reasons. I myself being a part of that group. Obviously, the younger audiences are going to be attracted to this as well. And again, it's one of those weird things, right? Going to see a film where people are getting injured. It's kind of one of those moral quandaries that many of us have to deal with on a daily basis. It says the reality stunt franchise first born MTV nearly 22 years ago, as I said, when I would have been in middle school going into high school, has spawned 3 movies and a presents comedy production, Bad Grandpa, which I was not a big fan of, although they've grossed $487.4 million worldwide, with the highest grossing title stateside being 2010's Jackass 3D, with $50.3 million opening and $117.2 million there. These movies are a massive cash cow for Viacom because, for instance, Jackass Forever cost only $10 million before taking into account any type of marketing costs for it. It says, similar to the way it handled Scream, Paramount didn't want to go day and date release in theaters on Paramount Plus with this title, taking off in cinemas first as filmmakers wanted 7 p.m. showings Tuesday for AMC Investor Connect members, with the second set of previews at 7 p.m. No Rotten Tomato scores, and Rotten Tomato scores really won't have any impact on this whatsoever. Let's just be honest here. It's just not going to make much of a difference. But as you can see, it is projected to make in the mid-seed millions. We talked about this a little bit for what Box Office Pro is talking about for this film. We had a long-term look at the box office just the other day, talking about the actual forecasting, the long-term, long-time forecasting, as we like to do a lot of this stuff live, or as live as we possibly can. And their original estimates, and these are estimates that are going to change as the days go by, and the original estimates had it between 23 and 33. So it is interesting because they had it in 23 to 33, whereas they are saying mid-teen millions. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not this is the industry expectation, whether this is the studio expectation, and just how different that is from what we get here. Because this is, again, Box Office Pro has their own way and their own metric, which sometimes pretty spot on, and it's sometimes off. So it'll be interesting to see who is right. And of course, they themselves at Deadline and other industry experts will try, so-called experts, will try and update these numbers as we get closer to the release. Roland Emmerich's independently financed $146 million sci-fi disaster Moonfall, starring Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, Michael Pena, John Bradley, Don Sutherland, Kelly Yu, and Charlie Plummer will debut in 3,400 screens. Lionsgate took domestic rights for a low 8-figure MG, and it's on the hook for the marketing costs of the film, which is a $30+ million spend at minimum. At minimum, come on now, you know it's more than that. I hear it's 8 to 11 million, and if the movie overperforms, it's in the 13 to 15 million dollar range. And so this film, which cost 146 million dollars, is expected to only open to 8 to 11 million, 13 to 15 million at best. Comparing that to the numbers here, yep, that fits into the range of what Box Office Pro had for this movie. And just to kind of keep things in mind, I'll do a quick little calculation for you. I did this last night on stream as well. That $146 million production budget, if you were to multiply that by 2.5, that gets you a break-even number. So this one needs to make $365 million worldwide in order for it to break even. If it's only opening to around $10 to $15 million, that means that the long-term, the actual long case scenario for the film probably is going to be close to the $20 to $50 million range. That means that this film would need to make around $300+ million overseas just to be able to break even. I highly doubt that that is actually going to happen. But then again, maybe this film will get a China release. Maybe they'll go gaga for it, as it is a disaster flick, and they do make comparisons between this film and Geostorm and Midway, etc. But it is interesting nonetheless that the mainstream media box office is back once again, blaming Omicron for why people have not had any film releases, why people have had terrible film releases over the past couple weeks, instead of it just being, hey, the films just haven't been very good. And also, January has always notoriously been the month where films go to die. But apparently, this has also been the last year, 2, 3 years, oh my goodness, going on 3 years now, where journalistic integrity has gone to die as well. But anyway, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Do you think that Jackass Forever is just going to own the competition? Again, do you think it's going to be in the teens, the mid-teen millions, as it says here? Or do you think it'll be closer to the $20, $30 million? I think if I was a betting man, I'd probably go closer to the Box Office Pro range. They will update their numbers as next couple days go by. They'll give their final estimates, I believe, sometimes Thursday evening or so before any actual numbers start coming in. And then those numbers will adjust as they get in the Thursday night numbers, the Friday numbers, because that will give them a better indication of how many people are actually going to see it based on their modeling. So do you think that Jackass Forever is going to be as successful as that, be able to break even in its opening weekend? And also, how much money do you think Moonfall is going to lose? I still haven't actually seen the trailer for this film, and I'm going to be honest, just based on the images and the fact that Halle Berry's in it, just makes me not really want to see the trailer for the film. But hey, maybe it'll get released onto streaming at some point, so that way I don't have to actually waste the time to actually go see a film that might be a waste of time itself. Again, who knows? Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it'll be amazing. Who knows? Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this and anything else I mentioned in the comment section down below. And again, $1.7 billion for Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, Anyway, let me know in the comments, in the comment section below. You're all amazing, beautiful people. Smash the like button, loud that fire button over on Odyssey. You are truly phenomenal people. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members, starting off with Patreon animation commentator Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father. Father Damian Cook, Fuzz Aldrin, Garrett Searles, Hannibal Grimm, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymason, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyles 79, Laura, The Modern Major General's Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Priscilla Hall, Rosetta Ellen, Stan Andrian, Teresa Martin, or Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Benden, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., the Empress of the Universe. Thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. Also to my Subscribe Star peeps, UAB Mad Dog, which is Mr. Mike Jackson, Storm Tracker, The R, Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stand For, John B., Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. Thank you all very much for supporting me over on the Subscribe Star platform. And to my 3 local supporters, we got Kara Tharp, UAB Mad Dog, which is once again Mike Jackson, super supporter over there, and Robert Barnes. Thank you very much for supporting me over on the Locals platform. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and video, please think about signing up on either of those platforms. You can find a link in the description below that will lead you to all of those different pages. It is known as the Willow link, as it is w.lo link, and it will have all the links to that, to the Discord channel, to all different kinds of places, including places to support me as well. At the Citizen of Asgardian level, you get Citizen of Asgardian level is how it's labeled on Patreon. Still need to fix that, but Citizen of Asgard level, you get a shout out at the end of every live stream and video. If you join at the Army of Asgard level, you also access to a giveaways channel, which is featured on the Discord that I have. I know, River, it is very exciting. It is so exciting, where you get giveaways for things like 4K titles, Steelbook titles, etc. Again, I got some 4K Steelbooks of The Punisher, for instance. I've got 4Ks of tons of other movies, so I'm giving those away all the time. So if that sounds interesting to you, join the Army of Asgard level. Also, at the Keep of the Bifrost level, you get all of that stuff, plus you get access to a once a month and maybe twice a month. We're trying to add an extra podcast in there of me and John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where we talk about movies, and also you get to ask your questions. Any questions that you want to ask, you get to ask with that podcast. And then you have the Chosen of Valhalla level, which gives you access to all of those, and also a once a month podcast where you get to be featured with me on the main channel. We all get to talk together about movies, culture, pop culture, anything really that the Chosen want to talk about, or anything the Chosen want to promote is on the table. So if you like that, join at the Chosen of Valhalla level. Also, during your first month of support, you get a free t-shirt. Any t-shirt that you want from the main store, you get access to, and I do ship internationally anywhere in the world. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.